Constants in interfaces. Interfaces can also include data members, but they are implicitly public static final variables and must be initialized. Thus, they are essentially constants. These constants are accessed like other static variables. Here's an example. So we can create a interface called math constants, which could have a double pi and double e. So let's see an example in the editor. So here we have an interface called iConst, which has three variables: integer mean that is set to 0, integer max that is set to 10, and a string error message that is set to boundary error. And since the interface variables are implicitly final, so we use all caps letters to represent them. So, and I also have an iConst demo, which has a main method where I'm going to test the interface. But before I do, I want to make sure that my class implements iConst. Okay, so now in my main method, I'm going to create an integer array called nums that is a new integer max. So that's the size of the array. Then I need a for loop. Integer I set to mean, and I is less than max, and I plus plus. So it's just a standard loop, but notice one thing: I have a direct access to interface variables mean and max, so as error message. The reason is that the interface variables are static, which means that we can use them without creating an object. So in my for loop, I'm going to create a condition: if I is greater than or equal to max. If that happens, we're going to print a message called error message, which will print boundary error. Else, we're going to assign a value to the spot in the array and then print it. So nums I is set to I, and we're going to print nums I with a space, followed by a space, and outside my for loop, I'm going to create an empty print statement. Here you go. Let's go ahead and try this. And it looks good. Then we can say Java I constant demo. So nothing happened. We access every variable. We assign them a value and then printed that. But what if we are to reach the max? Which, let's say, what if it is I is not less than max plus 1 or plus, let's do 5. So we can see what happens if it's I is greater than the size of the array. We cannot assign a value. We're going to get an error. So prevent that, we have this if condition will print the error message. So let's try this one more time. Here we go. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 9 was fine, but after that we got 5 boundary error messages.